Welcome to Tech Topics. My name is Stephanie, and I'm an assistive technology and activity specialist with Future in Sight. I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to our channel, and remember to check back often for more content added on a regular basis. Today, I wanted to share about a feature in settings that you can use on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. I'm sure it'll be coming to future versions of Apple phones, and I think it has some value worth checking out. So this is called the Action button, and there's a physical button, and you can adjust what you want to assign to the Action button in settings. Let's talk about where the Action button is located physically on your phone. If you're holding your phone portrait style, and again, this is for the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. So hold your phone portrait style, and on the left hand side edge, not on the screen, but the actual left edge of the phone, you have at the bottom left, it's not at the very bottom, it's about almost halfway up on the left side. You have a volume down button, then you have a volume up button, and above that you have the Action button. This is a very small rectangle. It used to be a silent mode button where you could silence your ringer and your media. So it used to be a little tiny hollowed out area with a little nodule in there, little notch that you would push down to silence your phone and push back up to unsilence your phone. So again, from the bottom, it's your volume down, volume up, and then that Action button. Or if you prefer to start at the top of your left edge of your phone, it's the very top button that you're going to reach. So you can do a lot of things with your Action button. You can only assign one thing to it at a time, but you have choices, and you can move those in and out and play around with it and see what works best that meets your needs. So you're going to go into the settings on your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, and you can ask Siri to open your settings, or you can do it the long way. And we're going to start near the top left and touch the screen about a ½ inch down.
No action. Adjustable.
And
Settings. Back button.
There we go. Now we're going to flick to the right.
No action. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Right? It said no action. And we can swipe up or down to, locate other options that we can put in there. So no action. You could leave it at no action and nothing would happen when you push that button. It seems a little bit of a waste of a great button, but you might not care for it, and you certainly have the opportunity to assign nothing to it. Let's flick down. So we're going to swipe down because we're at the very top. If I swipe up,
no action.
You hear the little bong associated with no actions.
No action.
That means there's no other options before this one. We're at the top. So let's swipe down.
Accessibility.
All right, accessibility. You can assign an accessibility option to this button. All right, and to do that, you would now flick to the right. Once you hear accessibility, you're going to flick to the right.
Accessibility. Quickly use an accessibility feature. Choose a feature button.
Choose a feature button, and here you would double tap.
Activate to dismiss pop-up window button.
All right. Now we have a whole list of accessibility features that we can pick from. Remember, you can only assign one, action item to this Action button, but you have a plethora of choices. Let's flick to the right.
Accessibility. Heading. Heading. Image. A white circle with a black center. Vision.
So the first category is vision. Let's see what they have in here. Flick to the right.
Classic invert. Classic invert reverses the colors of the display button.
Okay, classic invert.
Color filters. Color filters can be used to differentiate colors by users who are colorblind and aid users who have difficulty reading text on the display button.
So there might be some specific color filters that you prefer, and you could assign one of those filters. So when you push in the button, the Action button, you would reach that filter a lot quicker.
Detection mode. Start detection mode on the magnifier app button.
All right, there's detection mode. Flick to the right.
Increase contrast. Increase color contrast between app foreground and background colors. Button.
That's a nice one as an option.
Magnifier. Turn your iPhone into a magnifying glass to zoom in on and detect objects near you. Button.
That's a great one, right? You can push that button in and boom, the magnifier will come up. And then you push it again and it will, dismiss it.
Reduce motion. Reduce the motion of the user interface, including the parallax effect of icons. Button. Reduce transparency. Improve contrast by reducing transparency and blurs on some backgrounds to increase legibility. Button. Reduce white point. Reduce the intensity of bright colors. Button.
Yeah, the bright colors. If you light the brightness can really affect some people's vision differently, right? So this might be important to you to assign that as your action button.
Smart invert. Smart invert reverses the colors of the display, except for images, media, and some apps that use dark color styles. Button.
So smart invert is similar to classic invert, although smart invert is much smarter because it doesn't typically change, the photos. Classic invert would change absolutely everything, so your photos would look like negatives. It would be very strange looking. So if you are going to experiment with that, I would recommend smart invert over classic invert. Let's flick to the right.
Voiceover. Voiceover speaks items on the screen. Button.
Okay, you can assign voiceover to it. This is a good time to mention that you don't want to assign something to the action button that can easily already be done with another method. Otherwise, you're duplicating your efforts and you're wasting a great button that you could assign to something else. So, for example, voiceover, you can add that into your side button on the right. And triple tap that as a shortcut. You could add that in there instead. You could ask Siri to turn on and off voiceover. There's the back tap gesture you could assign it to. So I wouldn't really pick voiceover as my action item button, but you might like it. You might put the action item, voiceover, on the action item button. You might choose to use the side button on the right strictly for zoom. And so you can separate them out easier in what you press to execute. Let's flick to the right.
Zoom. Zoom magnifies the entire screen. Button. Heading. Image. A white logo on a black background. Motor.
And we're going into other categories now. They have a lot of choices in the accessibility section to add to the action button. For hearing and motor and general and etc. So you could peruse that section and see what works for you. So let's go back. All right.
Settings. Back button. Accessibility. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
All right. So we're on that adjustable button. So it's on accessibility. Let's see what else is in here. We had, no assignment, and now we have accessibility. We're going to swipe down.
Shortcut.
You could assign a shortcut, and if you flick to the right.
Shortcut. Open an app or run your favorite shortcut.
Okay.
New note. Button. New note.
So
button.
I have new note as my shortcut here. If I left it on that, I would be creating a new note. But there's, a whole plethora of shortcuts to choose from and shortcuts you've created, which is really another whole lesson in itself. But you can basically pick a prefabbed shortcut that might work for you in here. So that's the shortcut area.
Open an app or shortcut.
All right.
Shortcut. Adjustable.
Let's see what else we've got by swiping down with one finger.
Magnifier.
And you can get right to the magnifier here as well. So if I want to assign the magnifier, I would just leave it here. And when I push in the action button on the left, it would, presto, I'd have a magnifier ready to go. So let's see what else we've got.
Translate.
Translate. If you're speaking to others, who speak a foreign language, you might want this to be assigned as your action item so that you can converse with them.
Voice memo.
Voice memos is a really good one, I believe, because if I push this action item button in for a second or two, it'll just start recording a voice a voice recording called Voice Memos in the Voice Memos app. If I push it again, it will stop the recording. That's fabulous because you don't have to open the Voice Memos app, go to the bottom and hit record. It's not a lot of steps, but it's also not immediate. Whereas if you assign it to the action button, it is immediate. You might, meet up with somebody for lunch and, they have a new address or a new phone number. You want to quickly take it down. You could push that action item button and just have them speak into it, and it will be recorded. It records audio only. So another thing, you could be at a lecture and, you weren't expecting that, you had to take down some information at the lecture that they wanted you to take notes on. You could record the class by pushing that button and it starts the recording. And again, when you're done, you push it again. So it is really a great way to do that. If you're hearing your daughter play at a recital or something like that, your grandson playing, a musical instrument, push that button, you got a little recording of him doing it, and just push it again to stop. So then you would open, the Voice Memos app to access all of those recordings. They would show up in the app itself, but you would use this to assign it to the action button so you can press it and record and press to stop. I really like that one. Let's flick down again.
Flashlight.
I really like this one too. I really like magnifier. I really like voice memo, and I really like the flashlight. If I pushed it in, the flashlight would come on. So it's great if you get home really late and you need to see the keyhole a little bit better to get, your door unlocked. The flashlight option for the action button is really a winner. Let's flick down again.
Camera.
Now that's another good one. I have assigned the back tap button to my camera, but maybe you don't like that. I've heard some people not care for the back tap shortcuts because sometimes when you set your phone down on a counter, or a table or whatever, it sometimes brings up that camera, just by setting it down because it felt the pressure. It doesn't always happen, but it can. So you may want to assign the camera button to your action button on the left side button instead of that back tap. Let's flick down again.
Focus.
You want to know where you've been spending your time. What have you been using the most? You could take a quick peek at that through the focus and set some parameters there. So let's flick down again.
Silent mode.
And then you have your silent mode. And this is really what this button used to be. But it would be a lot easier, If the old button, you used to have to get your fingernail in there and just, flick that little teeny bar down to silence your phone and then get into that little nodule to flick it up to unsilence it. Now it's a button. If you leave it on this silent assignment to the button, you would push it in and you would hear, you can hear this one. This will show up on here. Let's do this.
Ring mode. Silent mode.
Ring mode, silent mode. So the second thing you hear is really what's taking effect. So it's on silent mode right now. If anybody called me, it would ring. It would not ring. And so if I do it again, if I push that action button in.
Silent ring mode.
Said silent ring mode. So ring mode was spoken last. So now my phone would ring. You'd hear the media on the phone, which is separate from voiceover, by the way. So that is the silent mode. So I think that is the last of the choices. Let's make sure by swiping down.
Silent mode.
Yeah, you hit a little bong associated with silent mode. I'll do it again.
Silent mode.
Right? That is a way to indicate that there are no more choices after this. So that's the last choice. So those are the choices that you can put to your action button and assign to it to press it and execute it and, quickly access some features that are, pretty nice to be able to go quickly into some features and like flashlight, memo, voice memo, silent mode, or even, a shortcut. You can be creative, play around with it. Enjoy switching it around until you find what works for you for that action button. So I hope you've enjoyed this description of what the action button does and where to go to find the choices of what you can put into it. Again, settings and then action button. And then there you have the different assignments. So have at it, have fun, and until the next time, I hope you've enjoyed this tech topic.